Hey, what's up everybody? This is Kalan from White Glove Models and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on part 3 of the Agora Models Battleship Bismarck. So in today's episode, there are a few things that I'm not going to be doing regarding the hull of the ship because there's some things that I kind of want to wait on, and so I haven't really decided if I'm going to be modifying any of that yet or not. So we will explore all of that in a different phase. Right now, what we're going to do is we are going to work on one of the aircraft that is on the Bismarck. But before we get to that, I want to give a huge shout out to our one and only patron at this time, Ian Campbell. Thank you so much, Ian. Ian is the owner of Partwork Upgrades in the UK, and he has been a wonderful supporter of the channel, and I appreciate him very, very much. If you'd like to become a patron and help support the channel, you can always head over to patreon.com and look for White Glove Models. There's also a link in the description down below. I also have a Buy Me a Coffee account. It's buymeacoffee.com, and there's also a link for that down in the description down below. And basically for $1 on either one of those accounts, you can join and see all the exclusive behind the scenes footage of things that I've been working on, such as the detailing of the Bismarck and some other great builds. And the best part, I have a very exclusive to members only behind the scenes workshop bench tour, which is pretty cool. So if you want to head over and check that out, that would be wonderful. With that said, let's head over to the workbench and get started. All right, everybody. So here we have the mag reels, my fishing tackle box full of Bismarck parts. And sorry about all the lights. They reflect off this really, really easily. But I have stage 3 in here. And like I said in the intro, sorry about that, we are going to not be doing any of the hull portion of this particular pack. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the airplane. And basically it looks like we need everything that is in here. There's a lot of fun little parts, and then even some photo etch here, which the photo etch was actually pre-molded for you, so you didn't have to worry about bending it and shaping it. I actually thought that was kind of interesting because some people enjoy doing that on, doing that part themselves. And with this particular airplane, I did not make any modifications to it other than the landing struts that attach to the pontoons. So that is everything for stage 3. So I can go ahead and put this off to the side. And basically we have all of our parts right here ready to go. And I don't think I'll be needing any oil for this because there aren't really any parts going into metal. First thing they want us to grab are the 2 fuselage halves, and I am going to go ahead, because I don't think this is metal, this is plastic. So I'm going to grab my Tamiya extra thin. I'm also going to grab the Revell just in case. And then the last thing I will be grabbing is some super glue. We've got that right here. And I use Crazy Glue. Crazy Glue is pretty awesome. Maximum Bond, I just get it in these. For some reason, that's how they come. So really happy with Crazy Glue. And then the last thing I need is my little sewing needle on the pin vise. And for the most part, I do think I've got almost everything removed from the sprues. And now we're ready to rock and roll. So perfect. I'll take my 2 fuselage halves, and you will see here where it goes into these holes there. I think what I will do is I'm just going to go ahead and put it together, and then we'll put a drop of the Tamiya extra thin cement, and what that's going to do is just really lock it in place and bond the two parts. And I mean, this isn't the greatest. There's a little bit of gap there. That decal looks slightly off. You know what? I don't care. I'm not going to worry about it on this. It's not a big deal to me. So what I can do, so I'll grab a couple of my clips there. And I'm going to just clamp this down like so. And then we'll come back here and I'll put a drop of the glue on that one. And I'll just hold them together with the clamps. And we'll set this off to the side, let that cure a little bit. Then we will be taking the propeller. I'm just going to dump these out on the table here. So you've got your propeller right here. And then let me grab some tweezers just to make this easier on my life. You've got this little guy right here, which isn't a screw at all. It's just the propeller shaft, and that's going to go into the cowling. Maybe. This is going to be a tiny bit tricky, I can see already. So I don't know about you guys out there, but for people that are building this particular kit, and this is the Agora Models version of it, I don't know if you're familiar with Partwork Upgrades or not, but Ian over at Partwork Upgrades has a power adapter that you can actually use on this kit to run all of your electrics, and that way it's plugged into the wall and you're not burning through batteries. So I have a friend over in the UK who built the Hashit version of this, and he is completed with it, but he says his controller blows through batteries like crazy. So that power adapter from Partwork Upgrades is definitely something I'm going to be getting, because when it comes down to it, batteries are expensive, and if you're ever going to have this working as you display it, it would behoove you to maybe get that power adapter. So just thought I'd put that out there, because it is something new to Partwork Upgrades. They just are getting them in, and so it's really awesome to see that option available. It says, do not glue in place, as the shaft should remain free to turn. Have the propeller ready for the next step, and then you're basically to the end of the shaft to secure the propeller in place. Be careful not to apply too much glue, as the propeller should remain free to turn. So this is always where it gets a wee bit tricky. So I think the best option here would be to use our super glue. So I'll take it out of its little happy base there, and I like to just put a little drop. There's probably plenty. And almost as soon as you put that in, it's probably going to stick. That's the one thing I learned doing the parts last week was with the barrels, was the second you put them in with that super glue on there, the super glue grabs hold really fast. I think I've got some glue in there. So now we'll take our little propeller shaft here and try to insert it into place. This is going to be tricky. Might have to drill this out a bit because I think that glue's already dried in there. So out comes the pin vise and everything's rolling off the table because of my hopefully eventually to be replaced workbench is temporarily a folding table. I'm just going to try to clean this out some because that super glue dried so fast, so you got to be really quick. Got to be a way to hold that better. It's one of those cases where you almost need another hand to help you. So apply a little bit more of the super glue in and around there. See, this is why I film these this way, so you guys can see the madness that that we have to endure sometimes with these part works. It's like I don't want to try pushing it in on the workbench because I don't want to bend it or have it go in the wrong way. But let me come on. Yeah, that is so. Drill bits. We're gonna go to a drigger. We're gonna go to a bigger drill bit. And see, none of these are super fast and easy. I'm telling you guys. You know, partly my fault, but so I'm going to this bigger drill bit, and I'm going to just kind of go in here and pull out some of that super glue. And we're going to try this again for reals this time. Okay. Thank you for your patience with this, guys. There we go. Now it is all the way in, and I'll just leave it be, let that super glue dry, and it should still be able to turn. You know what? I don't really care if it turns or not, but whatever. You know, I think it will once it's said and done, so I'm just going to leave that be, put this off to the side, and moving on, let us scroll down here. So now we can take our body that we've put together, and as you can see, I mean, there is some, you can definitely see that line in there. Frankly, at this point, I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is. So the one thing I might come back and try to do, just real quick before we move on any further, is I'm just going to apply a spot of glue here and here. And just to kind of give that a little more grip, because there was a fairly decent gap back there. And this glue dries relatively quickly. And then these two parts are plastic, so I can go ahead and use the Tamiya Extra Thin on them. And as you see, there's kind of a notch, I guess. So this can only go on one way. So I'll apply some glue to the outside of this one. And you really just want it on the outside because you don't want it to stop up the propeller, which I just did. So it's always good to have a paper towel handy. You just wipe that down. And then, sorry about the shaking of the camera. And then you just pop that into place. And the prop still turns, and you've got your cowling. To me, the cowling looks just a little bit oversized, but I'm not too concerned about it. It looks good for my house. Cool, and then you should have something that looks like this. And moving on. This is where all the fun little itty bitty cockpit parts come in. So you've got this one. I did not paint this. I just didn't feel there was a need to. So we'll go ahead and remove everything from the sprue here. Where did it go? No joke. There it is. Found it. Oh my gosh. There we go. Then there's this guy, which looks like it needs to be cut flush. Because this is the seat. And then I have no idea what this is. It looks like it might be like a rear gun or something like that. I tried positioning my light, one of my lights just underneath the area that I'm working so you guys can kind of have a better view. So this is done, no more parts. We're going to go ahead and throw that in the bin. And now we have the controls to put in. And they don't look like they're going to be terribly easy to do. Here we go. Go ahead and drop that in there. And I think that's good to go. Next we have the seat. And I'm happy with that. And then our little guns on the back. I want a little more glue in there. Can never have too much. That's actually not true. You can. So I'm gonna put that guy in there. I kind of want it, well, for sitting on deck, it's going to be, his guns are going to be pointed towards the rear of the airplane there. So there we are, we're done with that. And then they want you to use super glue for the cockpit. It's going to be held in. I'm going to use the Tamiya extra thin for this because it has these two little pegs on it that are going to go into here. Bring this up so you can see it. And it's just going to go on fairly easily. Yeah, and that should definitely hold tight. I'm just going to hold it in place for a minute. And then very carefully just run some glue. I don't think this is going to cloud up. If I'm wrong, oh well. Lesson learned. And then I'll just go ahead and run some glue down the whole seam here. We'll do the same thing for the other side. And that pretty much won't show up too much, as long as I don't get my fingers on it. So overall, you know, the colors and decals on these look pretty good. No complaints there really. They want you to put this on, it looks like just like so. That'll pop in on those holes underneath. So now you've got the pontoons here, it looks like, and these I did paint up. I painted them in XF66, I believe. Yes, the Tamiya light gray, so XF66, and they've got these little doodads on them, tabs, aka tabs, doodads, and they go into this part here. So these are metal, and then I believe this pontoon might be plastic, so it probably would behoove me to use some super glue on this one, or crazy glue, same thing. I don't really know what color the pontoons were. I always thought they were either a black or a gray. These ones are green to match the aircraft, which might have been the case. Okay, that's more than enough super glue. So that's interesting. There we go. My paint chipped off just a little bit, but that's not a big deal. You can always put that on the inside or touch it up. It's not hard to do. So here comes another interesting part, is they want you to assemble these like so. That part's going to go in there. It's a little bit confusing because they show theirs with the, okay. Yeah, they showed theirs with it kind of sticking out a little bit. So I'm almost feeling like another way to do this would be to go ahead and glue these into here, and then you can get that fit sorted out. Probably only need one. Yeah, because that's going to keep falling over. So I'm going to take one and check this out and see how it's actually going to be lined up. So it is at quite a bit of an angle. All right, come on, Kalan. So this guy will go in there. And then this one is sort of at a very sharp angle. But what's annoying is it doesn't look like it's going to reach. Okay. So I'm going to do things a little backwards. I'm going to go ahead and install this one in the rear. This is going to be frustrating, I can tell you that right now. We're already almost 40 minutes into recording, and very frustrating. I guarantee I'm not the only one that's had trouble with this. So here's the problem. Kalan has these in backwards. Let's see. I'm the idiot, not the kit. So go ahead and put some more glue down. That's the nice thing about super glue, though, is if you do make a mistake, it's easy to fix it. So going back, reapply some glue into there. These are supposed to be turned out, not in. Then when you go to put these on, now they should work. So see, I'm glad I didn't glue all of that together. I would have been miserable. So the back one does not have any nubbins on it. Just stick that guy in there, and it should be a good fit. Then we'll take the front one, do the same thing. And this time you want those little nubbins kind of pointing out. Come on, there we go. Now it's looking right. Then on this side, I'll just go ahead and dash some more glue in here. And then working fairly quickly, try to get these lined up. There we go, and now we've got what I see in their picture. So now it kind of makes sense. This was not quite as crazy as I thought it would be. Perfect. Do need you, there we go. Because when we go to assemble it onto the aircraft, everything should relatively line up. Relatively. Good. So I'll go ahead and before all of this cures, which most of it's doing already, go ahead and put the center bits in. They should pretty much just line up, and then we'll have to push that into place and do the same thing on the other side. And I'll just hold everything here for a few minutes, seconds for you. Okay, so they've been clamped together for a couple of minutes there, and everything looks fairly good. I'm pretty happy with that. Looks like we've got ourselves a cute little airplane right there. And next we're going to be adding our photo etch piece, which is this right here. So I'll do a quick test fit. And this is part of the carriage that it rides or sits on when it's on the catapult. So I'm just going to keep holding this for a few minutes and let you guys go, but this is basically what we have completed in Stage 3 or Part 3 of the Agora Models Battleship Bismarck. Well, that was a fun build on the side of the actual Bismarck, doing the airplane there. Definitely a lot of fun. There's a few little seams and stuff in there that I don't know, because it's already painted up, it might not be worth the effort to try to clean it up, because you're not really going to see the plane that much. You're going to be looking at everything else on the kit. So other than that, I'm pretty happy, and this is definitely a fun build, and will be a lot more fun moving forward as well. So thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe and the little bell indicator next to it to notify you of any new great content that I have coming out on the channel. So thanks so much, and I will see you next time.